It's weird.
And welcome to episode number 2 of the main pod, where we just talk about stuff. And so today we've got Edwin and Catalina Sanchez. They're a mother son, I was going to say daughter, a mother son team.
Close.
No offense.
No, it's
Mother son team. And they work at Main Street Realtors. And so I wanted to talk to them about being a mother son team mostly, and obviously they're having some very good success in real estate, and they have for quite a while. So we're going to talk about some of those things, and so yeah. So introduce yourselves. How long have you been in real estate? And a little bit about how you ended up at Main Street. How about that?
Well, first of all, my name is Catalina Sanchez, and I'm in this business for a long period of time. I started in 2000 as a loan officer, and in 2007, I decided to have my license as a real estate agent. Um, my son was involved with me about 6 years ago, and I'm pretty sure it's not easy to be mother and son, but we need to make an adjustments and be in the same role, same line. Figure out how can we management that and be successful. So one of the reasons that we came in through Main Street, it was because this office they offered a lot for us,
Mm-hmm.
and especially for us because it's a lot of stuff marketing that we have the opportunity to use it, and not other offers offer that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the reasons that we came through here. I love the environmental. People all the time is very friendly. So in this business, I believe that we need to be in this type of environmental because real estate is not easy. So we need to uh, be as a family
Mm-hmm.
and all help together. I love to work. This is one of the reasons that I love to work here.
Yeah. So 2007, you were a loan officer.
In 2000, I started as a loan
2000.
officer. Mhm.
And then 2007, you became a
My
realtor.
real estate license until now.
What made you want to do that switch?
Because I love to be more outside,
Mhm.
be in touch with people, and I don't like to be closed in a one room. So, and one of the reasons, and plus because I really love to be in a real estate. So just to meet new people, hear in a new stories, a lot of experience. It's awesome to be around those people. They're really looking for help.
Yeah.
I like to help families to convert the dreams versus renting and renting and renting to buy their own home.
Nice. Mr.
Yeah,
Edwin?
I mean, how do I top that, right? Yeah, I've been doing real estate since 2017. Like my mother mentioned, this is now my 6th year. Um, I always thought I was gonna do real estate,
Mhm.
so but I took a different turn. I wanted to go work in sports, and long ago, and also got the opportunity to work for the Penny Saver, and then from Penny Saver, it drove me back into sports. And
What'd you
then
do in sports?
I actually used to sell sports suites. So I used to sell season tickets,
Okay.
and I also used to sell sponsorships here locally when it came to the arena here in the city of Ontario. So it was a great opportunity. And then I stumbled upon Zillow, and I sold real estate agents advertisements in certain zip codes here locally in
Oh.
Southern California. I was one of those guys calling everybody 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Hey, I got this zip code available. You get this many exposures, and you'll be your own billboard in the area. And that's when the lights started flickering in my head, saying, I think this is a call to get into real estate and to serve the people. Um, Not to take away anything from Zillow, great company, and that, but there was a higher calling for me, and I'm happy where I'm at. Every day, it's a struggle. I know my mom said the same thing, something similar to it, but the opportunities in real estate are endless. You get to make what you put into it. If you can't find a solution, you'll find a solution later on.
Mhm.
So I believe in hard work. That was my name in Zillow. They gave me that name. So it stuck with me, and that's just my mentality. I keep my head down on my desk and just pick away.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. It's so you guys have been working together for about 6 years, and you know, I know my mom. She was in sales for a lot of years, and then when she retired, she's always had her real estate license, and so I've had this, I guess, part of me wants to like, hey, let's work together,
Mhm.
but I know that that would also be very difficult,
Yeah.
because there's that dynamic of mother son, and you're a businessman, she's a businesswoman, and where does that kind of go together? And so, I guess, what are some of the things that you guys have done to, I mean, when there's a problem or you guys disagree, or, hey, we should go this way with the business, or we should do this with the business. Let's spend money with this. How does that dynamic, like, what have you guys found that works to get through those moments?
You want me to answer? Awesome. Um, yeah, that's like the number one thing that constantly happens, right? Um, it's tough. It's tough to do business even with a friend or family member or just someone you want to help out with. But when it's family, it's really tough because they have one idea and you have the same. You have a polar idea that's different from theirs, and somehow, some way, someone's gonna have to stir the carriage the right way. So sometimes, if great example like today, we're talking about like doing some monthly flyers. An associate of ours, Michelle Clark, recommended my mom, and I prefer to do it on a monthly basis. She wants to do it on every other quarter. Sometimes I'm not a fan of flyers, but I know that's really good that you should be out there continuously. But I think it's a great idea, and that's where I let her lead that part of it, because it's her idea. I want to respect her idea to an extent, and then if I have an idea, I hope that that's the same respect I get in return as well too, which it does. So I think that's the way we manage it. But you do clash a lot. But I think the reason why we clash is because we have the same ultimate goal. We want to be in front of people's faces. We want to change people's lives, and we want to enrich their lives as well too. Because, like my mom says, it's an awesome feeling when you give someone the keys or when they sell their house and they entrust you into that part of it.
Mhm.
So that's just my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Well, we have different ideas. And remember, I'm in a different market. I came from a different market. So right now the market is completely different, a lot of technology, so kind of stuff. And my days, we don't have all this, but I try to adjust myself into the new, because if I don't do that, I'll be out of the business. So, and this is not my point. We discuss the situations, and we going through a mirror what is exactly needs to be done to be successful. But I really like it to work with him, because I learned a lot in his side, more about technology, and maybe he catch out some stuff from me and the way that I do my business.
Mhm.
But like he said, we always try to be in the middle of something to continue work together.
Yeah. I think one thing that's consistent, you both are in this business to help people.
Yeah.
And that's the feeling, like when you, like you said, when you hand over those keys, that's the ultimate feeling, right? Like that's
Yeah.
a really great moment. And it's something that, never gets old. They talk about in real estate that, list to last. So getting listings is the goal. But
Yes.
but when you do help the buyers, there's nothing that replaces that.
Correct.
When you get to give them the house, even if they're selling a house and they're upgrading, get that bigger house that they've been wanting, their dreams or whatever, it's all the same, even if they've done it before. It's just a
Yeah.
cool feeling. So
Mhm.
I think that's what keeps you guys kind of on that same path, even when there is trouble and in the waters, you have the same goal, and you guys both acknowledge that same goal.
I think another thing, not to like lean a little bit more towards like the main street stuff that we do here. Um, I joined here a year ago to the date, getting close to that. Both of us did. My growth and I think both of us here would agree that the stuff that we're doing here right now, we'd never, since I've been in real estate 6 years, have ever implemented it till now. It took like a big wake up call for us to even get our Google page going. That's something that I'm personally proud of. I think she is as well too, because we've learned that there's a bigger magnitude than just being on Zillow and getting reviews on Zillow. Even though it's the number one website driven, Your Google page will develop through time, and it can be organic, or just doing videos, just like these. These are things that are great for us because it gets us out of our comfort zone. There's other things that we're learning and developing as we go, like how to manage our CRM. I think those are like the biggest things that we take away. The time that they give us here is immensible. I think the time that you can apply for it is forever ending. It's just working on the things that we want to work on and get better. I think that's where most of our like clashing would come from is I want to be better at this, and no, I want to be better at this, and we have like 20,000 ideas. We just can't bring 20,000 and just bring into like two or three and focus on those. But I think one of the things that we're going to continue to do is be in front of our clients, but more now be geographically where we live in our clients, because those are benefits for us.
Yeah.
Because I can drive everywhere, but I'd rather drive in my neighborhood.
I mean, that would be the goal, right? I mean, we do have a California license. We could sell anywhere, but I mean, to do it in your own backyard and be close is the ideal. And you have community, right? Like you're building your sphere and you're building your clientele, and then it just all comes together. So the CRM thing, like, I think that is, in this business, we tend to get very transactional, right? Like, where's the next person I'm going to help? Where are they coming from? And so we're always, either paying for new business, for leads, or on Zillow, on Google. You're doing all these paid advertising, but through that, and the time spent to calling those people on a consistent basis, because consistency is important and all of those things. But we forget the people that we've already helped, that are our advocates, and the people that know us and like us and trust us already. We tend to leave them behind, I guess you could say. Like, it's a balance.
Yeah.
So what are you doing what are some of the things that you might think are going to work, or what is working for you guys to do that?
Well, I think I'll touch base on my mom's past. I'm going to go back into what she used to do a lot. She used to have a booth in the swap meet, and the outdoor swap meets. And for the longest time, I think it gave her a lot of business. I think COVID changed that business a lot, but that's something that I want to recognize for her, because a lady her age still out there at least 8 hours a day in the sun and the wind and the rain to just sit there and try to get business. Now that to me is tough. I think that's even tougher than door knocking, to be honest with you. I don't know if you want to talk about the swap meet days, but she got a lot of business from there.
What did you do?
I just have my booth, and I prepare everything with my flyers, my table, and gifts. Sometimes, always, I have like a pen, something. So, and just pass my information, stop the people, let them know, hey, I'm here for anything you need. You have any questions? Um, just let me know. So, the 60% of my business came from the Swami
Wow.
on those days. Like Edward mentioned, COVID changed everything. So right now I'm not do any more Swami, but I was in the Swami for 16 years
Wow.
doing the Swami. And from there, I kept the clients, and we calling. He's calling. I call my past clients, and we get referrals from them. So this is basically what we're doing right now. Yeah, definitely. We added some other stuff like open houses. I'm calling cold callings, and the only thing that we're not doing is buy leads.
Mhm.
But we try to be in focus on that, so we can create our business
Mhm.
and be more in front of them, to not forget us.
Yeah.
Because in these days technology is so awesome for them that if we don't be in front of them, it's pretty soon they don't remember about us.
Yeah.
And what Edwin mentioned, one of the things that we really love it is now, like for me, I always super shine. I now wants to be in a camera, not even a make a video myself.
Mhm.
So doing this in this office, it, is a big change for me.
Mhm.
And because I always like, I don't know how to do that. I don't think I don't like to be my face in the camera,
Yeah.
but I'm here.
Yeah.
This is something that I feel like super awesome on my side. But definitely, I mean, just keep in front of the clients, keep in front of the people they know us, because if it's not, someone else is going to come and
Yeah.
give it the business.
Yeah, I think the camera in like doing video, obviously this, here they're big Tom Ferry people, and he's always talked
Yeah.
about, doing video. But for me, it's always been something that's I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But to your point, like you feel like, oh, I don't want to be on camera. I don't, this and that. And now you feel like you have to, but then you start doing it, and you're like, well, who really cares what I say? You have that imposter syndrome. Like, what am I going to say, right? And then I think I'm very, what do they call it? Analytical.
Okay.
Right. So like, I have to. What kind of value am I going to say? I don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to say the same things as everybody else. And so all of those things just go into your head when
Yes.
all you really have to do is just do it, because it's going to be 90% better than all the rest of the agents that are out there that are not doing those things to be out there. And beyond that, like for your clients, it definitely, I think it puts you in an authoritative kind of a position when they see you on camera. It creates that movie star kind of a thing, and it just changes that whole dynamic. I think if you can do it consistent.
No, yeah. You nailed it. I agree with you 100%. I think another thing that, just to lean on some people that mentioned this stuff as well too, we have a pretty great rapport with our past clients. We do like to cold call. I know someone said that they didn't previously, but we do. I get a joy out of it, to be honest with you, because you don't know who that next person is going to be on the phone. Rejections is just part of getting thicker skin for us, and it's okay for me. But going back on the past clients is, my mom does a great rapport with her past clients. They call her like crazy. Sometimes if they can't get a hold of her, they get a hold of me. But to be fairly honest, my Spanish is not the best. So they always say, hey, Catalina, your son's Spanish is just not there, can we just talk to you? So I always throw them back to her, even if it's a client that I have a great relationship, like I can shoot the craps with them. I can't really conversate in Spanish. So I always send them back to her. And when it comes to her, she sends them back to me. So we can kind of build relationships off that as well too.
Yeah. I feel your pain, because when I was my dad's Argentine. He's from Argentina.
Oh, wow.
My grandmother never, and my grandfather never, my uncle didn't speak a lick of English the whole time they were alive here. And my mom, she's white, whatever. And so, but I grew up with her. They got divorced when I was young. And so every time I went to my dad's house, or every time, I'm with my dad and we're out, he was a contractor, we'd be on job sites, and they talk to him in Spanish and then start talking to me. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying, dude. Like, it's over. So, and then everybody looks at him like, what's wrong with your son? Why doesn't he speak Spanish? And, it's, so I definitely understand. At least you can kind of conversate.
I give it a go. And I mean, even if I say the wrong words, my mom will correct me.
Yeah.
But I give it a go. My Spanish always has a little bit of fine tuning to get with, but at the end of the day, I think they understand what I'm saying.
Well, I think there's a huge market for Spanish speakers on video.
I agree.
There's so much opportunity, I think, that's lacking in that thing. So, if you guys could be that, and really probably gain some a lot of clients and things like that by doing Spanish speaking videos. So
yeah, no, I think we're both in agreement there that Spanish is the way to go, especially for her market, especially because that's her bread and butter. I could say that. Not to give a big number, but I think we have majority of our clients are Spanish speakers first and English speakers.
Mm-hmm.
So we've impacted that market, and we still want to continue it because they're the same people that will refer someone else.
Yeah.
They always like show our videos, and sometimes we see that they repost it and we're like, oh, thanks, you didn't have to do that, but we truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
They always say like, hey, the best agent here.
That's
to
cool.
us, that means the world.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a couple questions
Sure.
For you guys that we're kind of asking everybody.
Sounds good.
These same questions. So, what is the craziest client that you guys have ever had?
Those are always tough. I don't know. You want to talk about crazy clients?
Do you remember one?
I remember that. I do remember one. Like a year and a half ago, we were working with a buyer, and the buyer was a little too crazy. And the aspects was this: we showed him a house that I totally did not recommend for them to purchase. They still submitted an offer, And the reason I didn't recommend a purchase is because I actually notated to them that there was cracks on the wall. And I said, if you were asking me, I probably wouldn't buy this house because of things that are out there. But I'm not an expert. What I would recommend for you is, if you guys like it, talk amongst your family, and then we go from there. So they submitted an offer, got the offer accepted. Then the home inspection came along, and the home inspector told them in the report, there's cracks on the wall. And it turned around and said that I never said that to them. This is a house in Hemet. I don't even remember the clients. Um, and then they said, "Oh, we don't want to work with Edwin anymore." So the logical step was, well, my mom's gonna step in, and my mom just straight up told them, saying, "Hey, this house is not suitable for you guys, and if you guys don't think that it's Edwin's giving you guys the right advice, then maybe we're just not the agents for you." Where we ended up just firing ourselves because we knew that the relationship was going to be, they're going to blame us for anything that happens after they buy the house. And at the bottom line, we're going to give the best suggestions for them, but they were just never happy. I mean, they ended up going with another agent, so it worked out for us really well. And it saved us a lot of headaches because we were blunt from the beginning with them, and they still wanted to proceed. And it's not the kind of business that we want to do. We want to sleep comfortable at night, and we want to make sure that everybody's happy. I don't know, my mom has any crazy clients. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff, but I think my mom might share more because she has more experience here.
I just I just got one, but he was planning to sell the property, and he finalized not selling, but he wants to be around me, those type of clients that he was in front of my office, and he want me to go in through the truck because he's leaving to Zacatecas. So it was super scared for me. Mostly the time, the clients that we have, we always try to give it the best service and guide correctly. But no, I don't have much like stories about crazy people. But that one, yes, I remember very clear because when I started working with them, one of the persons that started throwing away so much bad information that I know because we work together, and I know how he guide the clients. And yes, I went straight and said, you know what? I believe we are not agents for you.
Yeah.
For me, to lose a client is not my side, because if the client doesn't feel comfortable with us, I mean, it's no reason to have a bad transaction.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
This is a more simple solution, because, like Erwin mentioned, we need to be okay to give you more service to someone else that really needs to doing something, and listen, because from the beginning, yes, he explained about the situation, and what we mention all the time, we are not an experts, but just make sure that everybody's agree, and if you like it, let's go. So, but it's nothing else is going to be like so crazy of that. But yeah, that client and the two clients that we have in my mind right now, they're really like, ooh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So crazy deals. Have you ever had anything that, like, once you get into escrow, you find out like they had a husband or a wife somewhere, or have you had any like crazy deals, or someone died and they're on the will and like you can't get it closed, or like, is there any crazy transactions you've had?
Not on my end that I remember, but I'm pretty sure my mom has some that she can remember.
No, I don't think so. Mostly the times when we open escrow, we close the escrow. Yeah, we look at it for a way, to get a solution in those type of situations. Yes, I just give an example. It was a buyer that we was working and follow them about 4 years. So one day Edwin said, "Mom, I don't know, I want to work with this client because he's like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth." So I keep all the time calling. And one day he just tell me, "Hey, I want to buy my home." I said, "Okay." So I was so straight with him. I say, if you want to lose my time, I don't, because it's someone else outside that really wants my help. So he told me, no, I'm serious now. Okay. So we was in a transaction that unfortunately the lender made a mistake, first of all. So they put me in a spot that almost we lose the transaction.
Mm.
So for reason another, the lender disappeared from the mortgage company that she was working. And I need to find out who was the lender. How can we close the deal? The buyer is using at that time a program, and the lady they don't tell there is only one program for the down payment. He needs to bring the closing costs. So it was hard for me. So one way to another, we make an arrangement with the seller, and we close the deal. But it was super crazy. Sometimes I have a couple days that I'm not barely asleep because I try to figure out how can we pull it out the money. So we was one way and another way, and we finalized to get the money from the seller,
Mm-hmm.
which is mean was an also seller and an also agent. I love to work with those type of people
Yeah.
because they never try to cancel the transaction. They're always like open. How can we help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but my buyer was like, hey Catalina, I want to I don't want to do anything else. I said, no, don't step up. Let's go into the to finish it. Let's figure it out. So let me think about it. So he was like, okay. So I give you some options, doesn't work out for them, and I give you other options. So I said, you know what? The only option we can do is let's go directly to the seller.
Yeah.
Let's explain what's going on. If the sellers agree, we can close the deal. If it's not, we can cancel. So, but we finished the transaction, and everybody was happy. The seller move out. There be a friends after the close the transaction,
Nice.
and the buyers move out, and they're super happy. The family in the house.
Yeah.
So, and it's one of the things that after you finish, you feel like, wow, this is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did it. I mean, I worked the guy before and I couldn't get him, and she did it. She proved the point to me. So persistence never,
4
never-
years.
Yeah, 4 years.
4 years follow up.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and almost three out of those 4 years we haven't qualified for homes.
Wow.
And the only year we didn't have them qualified was last year. So yeah, this year she ended up making it happen, and kudos to her because the client was, he was back and forth every single time, and the deal's closed, and he's happy in his home. He's no longer renting. I think that's the biggest thing, right? No longer renting, and they have their own home. I also just started coming to my head. I remember we took a listing agreement years ago in a property of Riverside, and well, we had one signature, but the other signature, we went to the door, we knocked, we explained, we presented. The person just refused to sign it because it was good. It was a divorce.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember that we listed it, and that person made this guy's life a living hell. And we're like, whoa, we should just probably not, you know, rather just stay in good terms here and just cancel this listing because it's not going to be good if we even put it in escrow because that person wasn't going to sell it. And I remember that we would go to their house and talk to them, and everything wasn't real estate related. Everything was bashing the person, and I was like, whoa, I can't tell you what to do there,
Yeah.
It's either you guys are going to want to sell it and work with us, or we got to let you guys do your own thing outside, whatever ways you guys got to go. They went, but we ended up canceling that listing agreement, and I think it was best for both of us because we were going to lose sleep on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Divorce can be rough. Yeah. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. But
Yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes it doesn't.
yeah. Knowing what you know now, what would you go back and tell yourselves when you guys first got in the business?
You want me to go first?
Mhm.
Where do you want to go first?
You first.
I'd start over. You think you know everything until you start planting your feet down here, and you really don't know anything. Um, I think I would go about it a way different way than saying, "Here's a Rolodex of books and here's some phone numbers and call it," because that's the way I've always been presented in a business. This is more of a people business as opposed to corporate style business, and I think that's been the hardest part, even to this day, for me to switch that off, because I've always kept a corporate mindset. How I run my business, how I act in business, and how I present myself in business. And this is more of a people person where you're interacting with someone. Get out there. It's still hard for me because I like to go home. I like to spend time. But I think the biggest takeaways for me now to then would probably tell myself that I wish I would have known, using social media, using Google, building your back end before you start, making those phone calls. Because when you get your license, you're just like, boom, I want to go.
Yeah.
And there's no stopping me. But in reality, you're going to finally start hitting roadblocks, and you're going to wish you started developing those things right now. I feel that us as agents, maybe I'm speaking out of line here, we always play catch up, catch up, catch up, and we're never more advanced. The reason why we're more advanced is because we leave everything to last minute. I think it's just my perspective. I definitely get a coach off the bat. I think coaching or someone that wants to mentor you is way much easier transition than doing it on your own, because it's nice to have your own schedule, but when the checks don't come in, you start stressing. We've been blessed to continuously work hard, even though we've had our suffering as well too. But that doesn't mean that it's always going to give you the results. I think I would always go back and talk to myself and say, hey, you don't have this. You definitely need to search someone that's can lead you to that part.
Yeah.
And I agree that if anybody comes in the business, try to find someone that would want to mentor or shadow them. Ask them questions. There is no dumb questions. I was told once, I would say in 2007, that be like a sponge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to what you're saying to me, because like I got into the business, I didn't hire a coach right away, I didn't get on a team right away, and I think I suffered because of that. To your point, having the back end, like the first year, making cold calls, talked to how many people, and had zero way to follow up, like idea of what to follow up. Like if you're not listening today, it's over, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going on the
Yeah.
next guy until somebody gets an appointment. And you don't understand that that guy that you talk to is probably going to sell in a year or 2 years. So you've got to have a way to stay in front of him, and then that's when you really start to snowball and get busy. But you don't have that guidance up front. Like right now, started to do investing and buying real estate, things like that, and I found myself making the same mistake. Like I'm going at this all on my own,
Yeah.
rather than this. I just realized that this is what I was doing, and I'm like, okay, not anymore. I'm going to partner with other people that are doing it, and that way it'll get me there faster, and I'll learn more, and I'll learn quicker, and together we can accomplish more. So I definitely can relate to what you're saying.
Another thing, I would have done this since I was 18 years old. I
Yeah.
would have. I don't regret it.
I waited till I was 38.
Yeah, I see. We're like we're almost in the same boat, Like I remember my mom telling me, like, at 17, hey, get your license, get your real estate license, just do it. You don't know what can come out of it. I would talk to that younger Edwin and be like, dude, you should have done it from the beginning. It's cool that you went these routes, but you knew that at the end of the day you wanted to go this route at the end of it. I don't regret it now, but I wish I would have.
Yeah.
It's more of like a lesson learned. But I would encourage anybody out there that's wanting to do it, surround yourself with people that you want to see succeed, because when you close yourself up, it's tough to get out of that hole. Someone's going to want to lean over and give you a hand. I think that's the toughest part about real estate period is it's self-driven, but in reality, it's more of a teamwork. It's not just my mom, it's your transaction coordinator, it's your brokers, it's the people around you. We shoot around back and forth here and there about leads, and those little things, or we pitch ideas, like door hangers. I think it's kind of funny about that stuff. Those things help out because you don't know what's going to be good for you, and it works for you, and it doesn't work for me. Great, it worked for you, and now I got to figure out what you did it to make it work. Know? So I think there's just a lot of parts to making someone be successful and continue, because I am by no means a successful story. I'm still growing my grass, I'm still trying to get up there and want to be like everybody else and continue to grow, get the years that my mom has the leverage of. I mean, she has a Rolodex, a book that people just call her and send her, hey, I got a referral today. Dude, I need my phone to ring,
Yeah.
That's just it. So, but I don't know. My mom, she wants to share anything. That'd be awesome.
I'm pretty sure he already mentioned most of the mindsets that I have, but always you need to remember nothing is going to be happening if you don't do something.
What would you go back and tell yourself back in 2007 when you got your real estate license?
Well, at that time I was a single mother,
Mhm.
so I just need to get up from my bed and look at it for business. I never get out of the real estate. I always looking for something to do. Like I know on those days it was super hard because just to be a mother of two childs myself, it was like I want to shoot my head. I'm gonna tell you the truth,
Yeah, we're
you know,
trouble.
because those days, we don't have like nothing to bring into our table. So, but there's one of the reasons that I pushing more to be in the Swami. So on those days, the banks they don't know what to do with the properties. So for one day and another, short sales come out. Okay, so short sales. Let's start listen how to handle it. You know, so you just keeping and keeping and try to survive because these days they remember me those days, but in a different way. You know, but it's just be consistent. This is one of the things. I'm a person that I like not to be one day to not do nothing. You
That's
know,
true.
I so frustrated when sometimes we as an agents because we had our free time thinking that we can do later on. No, you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
Whatever is good for you or is beneficiary for you, just do it. I mean, if you have to call, if you like to be calling. If you want to contact your past clients, go ahead, do something for your past clients, but be in front of the clients that wants help.
Yeah.
Because as people out of the market right now in the market, they're looking for help, you know. But I don't want to hear like news. I don't want to be around people that are crying like it's no business because first of all, real estate is hard.
Mhm.
So just to be around those people doesn't help me to be consistent when
Yeah.
I want to be.
Yeah.
You know. So but from those days to right now, I mean, I just always tell Edwin, let's push in. Let's see what we need to be done to be around people that looking for help,
Yeah.
and at the same time, I like to be around people that are successful, like I see here in the office some agents that they grow up a lot,
Mhm.
and I love it. I love to go into Facebook and see what they're doing. If it is a one deal getting through the escrow, believe me, right now I can applaud this because it's hard
Yeah.
to get it.
Yeah.
So it's just that for me, it's just keep doing what you're doing. Just don't step up. Don't be out of the business. Just push it.
Yeah.
I mean, business is going to be changed no matter what. We already be in a bad business and in a good business. So this is something that's they're supposed to be happen.
Yep.
It's only our mindset needs to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
I think
100%.
I think
Mhm.
that's cool that she said back into the market crash mentality, because we're hearing like, oh, all these agents are leaving, right? I try to tell my mom like, don't talk to me about that because I'm not leaving. I use the whole movie mindset. I'm not leaving because I'm not. And I promise myself that I'm gonna make it. If this market goes left or right, I'm still gonna be a part of it.
Yeah.
I got living testament. My mom right here. I mean, I remember there was times that people were losing their houses left and right. And you feel pity for them, and you feel really bad for them, and you go through these things with them, and at the end they buy again. They hate renting, they buy again, and they stay around you. And this market is going to be evolving. It's not really the strongest survive. It's how hard you work, I think, and how hard and how smart you work as well too. That's going to make you get and say and look back 5 years from now, say, man, I remember this 2023, what this market was, and it's nothing compared to it is now. I'm trying to see it on the other way, the other side of the rainbow, because I think there's going to be a great opportunity for us right now more than ever. We just all got to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I listened to a lot of Ricky Kruth a couple of years ago, and
Amazing.
he just talks about there's transactions every single day, regardless of the market, whether it's good or it's bad. There's still
Mhm.
transactions every single day, and I think we all know that. Well, there's only 1% of the agents do 90, 70, 80, 90% of all the transactions, which means there's quite a bit of market share still out there for
Yeah.
the people that are willing to work for it and be consistent, make the calls, show up every day. Seems like it's a consistent theme that consistency wins.
Mhm.
I've met a lot of agents that weren't the best, but hard work beats talent every single day. You see people that are very talented that don't do a lot of business, and then you see people that aren't very talented. They're not very skillful with their words and talking to people. They're not very charismatic, but they're damn consistent, and they call every single day. They do what they said they're going to do, and they have a lot of success.
Yeah.
So to your point, in the down markets, you just have to outwork everybody, and
Agree.
you'll be here. And it's more opportunity for us,
Definitely.
right?
Yes.
Go on. Bye.
As much as I don't want to say bye to those people, I'll always say thank you because they give us the opportunity to get more business. But I think we always want more of the cake, right? Or the pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're in an exciting market right now. It's really testing the mindset,
What do you think is going to happen when interest rates come down? If and when?
I don't know. You want to answer that one?
Um, I know a lot of people they're buying right now.
Mhm.
Is going to give more business to the lenders because if the rates drop, is going to be more refinance. People wants to be lower the payment, and based on what the numbers and the experts mention, they say there is going to be increased 50 to 20% the value.
Mm.
So people needs to understand numbers never lie.
Mhm.
So one way to another, you have to have something where you guys put your family to live.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So, but let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
You never know.
I heard something the other day, and I didn't I hadn't heard it before, and I was thinking about it. Like I know that we have a lot of pent up demand, right? There's all the homeowners that have homes that have sub 4% interest rates. It's like 70%. Half the homes in America are 40%, 40 something percent are paid in full. There is no mortgages.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about it. We have a lot of people that do want to buy that they're holding off because of interest rates. We have homeowners that aren't selling, which is causing low inventory, which is still keeping the prices, fairly steady. And they don't want to sell because they're going to have to double their payment or whatever it is to go buy the next house because of the interest rates. But I heard something the other day, and it really made me start to think about it. When the interest rates start to come down, they were saying that the prices are actually going to come down momentarily as well.
I think that can happen.
Because once the interest rates come down, yeah, the demand's going to come down, but there's going to be a way bigger flood of inventory. Will there be enough demand to keep that price stable? Because as all these neighbors that have been waiting, they start to list their homes. Now there's more inventory. They're going to start lowering their price to get their house sold. So it made me think: is prices going to dip before they go up after the interest rates come down? Because everybody's thinking interest rates going to come down, prices are going to go right up, but there might be a lull before that even happens.
Yeah, it can happen. The real estate market is completely like we don't know. When we have the crash, we don't know whether the crash was just there in the door. It's one day to another. In 24 hours, the market was
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So it's impredictable to say what exactly is going to be happen. The only thing I can say it is, if you have a need, get it. This is your time. It can be this today, it can be next year, it can be in the next couple months.
Yeah.
So everything is everybody is different, and everything is different for everybody.
Yeah.
But real estate is good. There is a good investment versus be renting and renting and renting. And no matter what, how's the market moving, it's always be people looking to buy it, to sell it.
Yep.
And that's why we are here to helping families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you mind if I chime in on that?
No,
real quick?
absolutely.
Yeah, I think this market's crazy, right? Ever since 2019, the market's been changing and evolving really rapidly. I think one of the things that have seen a lot is someone's always going to want to buy and someone's always going to want to sell. When that time is, it doesn't matter because that's that person's perfect time. But one thing, a trend that we've seen this year specifically is people that bought during COVID, they're selling their houses again.
Mhm.
And sometimes we ask, hey, what's making you sell their house? Hey, well, I don't want to be here no more. I want to get into my dream home, or I want to get into my dream area, which we have. We sold a client a mobile home during COVID, and they let equity develop on a mobile home. That mobile home ended up helping them get their down payment and more to buy a house up in the high desert, and that's where they wanted to be. They wanted to be with their family. We saw recently as well too. A person that bought their home during COVID, they had equity in there as well too, and they wanted to cash it out. They're like, hey, we've only been here for 2 years, but we made money on this house and we want to take that out because we're not going to refi it.
Yeah.
Because if we refi it, the interest rate's going to be higher and we're going to take this money, use it for things that we need, and then we're going to buy our dream house in a few years later.
Mhm.
So we're seeing those kind of trends coming along as well too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where this market's going to go, who knows?
Yeah. I got completely sidetracked after we started asking those questions.
Yeah.
Fourth question is, what's the most valuable thing that you have learned in business or in real estate?
Ooh, that's a good one. What's the most valuable thing? Patience.
Mm.
I think patience for me. I've always been this guy that I want results immediately, and it doesn't work like that in real estate. Um, you have to develop the patience for it. You have to develop a layer of calluses for it because when it comes at you really quick,
Mhm.
and then another one comes, and you're like, oh my god, where were these before? Um, but this business is built on patience. And I think to touch on something that my mom brought up in the past is a mindset. Um, that's probably the toughest thing for a lot of people, including myself. I'm guilty of it too. These little negative thoughts creep in, but at the end of the day, I have a lot of momentum that I want to carry with me and a lot of motivation that wants me to do better because I don't want to sell one deal. I want to sell more deals. I want to get more into real estate. I want more,
Yeah.
um, that's just my thoughts.
Yeah. I think mindsets, it's never ending, because even when you get, everything is level. So as soon as you get to that level, then there's another mindset that you have to break and you have to rebuild or change your perspective. It's never ending. I think back to, because I was in the car business before I was in real estate, and
We're at.
yeah, right here in, Tustin, Orange County, and in Infinity in Ontario, and
Nice.
I was a mechanic for a lot of years, and then I was in the service drive and helping clients. That's kind of where I got to the point where I really like to talk to people like we're doing here, because
Yeah.
everybody would sit down at my desk and I'd just be asking them questions like,
Mhm.
because one of my favorite things to always ask is like, you got into real estate, why? There's always something in somebody's life to where you made a decision to go one way or the other way. Why did you make that decision? What was happening? I met a guy who was he had a company that made skateboard wheels.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so random. How did that even happen? Right. So, and learn about that stuff. And I just find it fascinating, and but at the time, my mindset now and the things that I think about and the way that I look at the world and the way that I look at business and just the infinite possibilities that are out there, when you're sitting at your desk and you're watching the freeway and everybody's going by and you're looking at the same wall
Yeah.
day in, day out. This to your thing with the mortgage. You wanted to get out. You're looking at the
Mhm.
same wall, same thing, and all this life and everything that's going on out there in the world, and you're stuck glued to this seat at this one spot every single day.
Yeah.
It felt like prison sometimes.
Oh yeah, I know that
And
feeling.
so when I finally got out of it and went into real estate, and then you just didn't know what you didn't know. There was so much that I've learned over the years that it's just priceless, and it's fantastic, but it's never ending.
I'm gonna touch a little I don't really like sharing this, but it's I guess it makes perfect sense right now. When I used to work at Zillow, I used to travel from my mom's house because I lived at my mom's house at that time, from Rialto all the way to Irvine, and I would have to leave at 5 in the morning, no later than 5, because after that traffic is crazy. It could take me up to 2 to 3 hours to get just to Irvine.
Yeah.
But I knew if I left at 5, I'd get there at least at 6:15, 6:30. But I would park all the way on top of the parking structure. Keep in mind that the night before, I would pack in my blankets with me and pillows, and I'd park in the parking structure 6:15, 6:30. I'd get there and I'd make a bed. I lower the back seats and then I would sleep there till at least 7:45 because I had to be in the office at 8. And those were the things that were kind of pushing me kind of to get out of this thing, dude. Like, why are you doing this,
Yeah.
man? You're just, I mean, you can go and live in Anaheim, you can go and live nearby here, but that's not what you want to do. You don't want to do this. You want to help people. You want to do the good deed of, putting people into houses, and one day I was at my desk and I said, I'm out. And I still remember that I said I'm out. And I told my boss, hey, yeah, today's my last day. And he immediately like dropped what he was doing and he called my manager, his manager, and took me into an office and said, like, hey, are you sure you want to do this? I said, man, I've been thinking about this moment for the longest time. I said, there's no money that would make me more happy than doing what I want to do. I didn't want to share with them what I was going to do, which was get my real estate license.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. Cause I remember like getting out of work, I would still go back into my car to go to sleep. And then I drive in traffic for 3 hours just to get home and just to go to sleep. And there's no money and peace that gives me the way that this job does, because it's enriching other people's lives. At the same time, it's helping me out and putting people's smiles out there and making me happy too, But I just wanted to share that little nugget, personal nugget for me.
It's a good
So,
story.
That was it for me.
It's a good story. What's your best advice to newer real estate agents? Somebody's just getting in the business. What would you tell them?
If you want to be in this business, it's because you like to be in this business. This business is not easy. Don't be, a lot of agents, when they're coming through this business, they thinking only about money. It's not about money. It has to be something that feel you love to do that, because you are helping families. You are helping clients outside that you need to guide correctly to go into what they need.
Yeah.
So this is my recommendation, and just learn. If you want to be successful, just make a track. I mean, you have to make your calendar, be successful, and never back up. Never back up. It's not easy, but if you want to go into, you can go in deep.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my recommendation. Just don't sit back. It's always someone outside that can help you. They can give you a hand. Be around people that are successful.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, watch out what you're doing. So, and just keep moving. Just keep moving. But I believe the most big gift they can give it to us is when we close a transaction.
Yeah.
And you see those happy faces. This is the most payback to us.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say no more. I would say patience is a virtue, but that's already something I already mentioned. I think just come with a free mindset that you don't know everything, ask, and ask, because you're never going to know the answers until you go through the situations that you're going through. That would be my best advice for them. I would say get your license is number one. Find yourself around good people, number two, and then stick with them.
What would you say about the schedule?
Oof, that's like the toughest part.
I know a lot of people. I want to be an agent. I want to control my schedule.
Yeah,
control all that stuff. But talk on that.
I think that's the hardest part because
we always fight out that.
I don't know if we fight about it, but we have a lot of disagreements about it. Corporate mentality for me, that's like something that I'm still having a hard time adapting to. I'm your little typical 9 to 5, 9 to 6 person. And I always tell my mom, like, man, we're still here at 7 o'clock. What are we doing here? It's 8 o'clock. What are we doing here? I mean, you're guilty of it too. I see you here with us. You work very hard as well. And but lately I've been like, it's 7:15. I got to go somewhere else. I got to go work out or something. Scheduling is just really tough in this world because you got to learn how to shut your brain off in this business. And I'm guilty of it. When I get home, I'm scrolling for videos and trying to see what ideas I can come up with. This business is really tough. So scheduling is one thing that I definitely have to improve on. Like when to schedule my lunches.
Yeah.
Am I picking up calls during my lunches or am I sending them to voicemail?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think that you have an opposite, like, because I think a lot of people get into real estate thinking that they are going to have a lot of time to go do what they want to do and their business is easy. But you realize that if you do that, then you make no money, and so it's a lot harder, a lot more work than you even think it's going to be. And so.
And is this why a lot of people wants to be a real estate agents? Because they want to management their time, but they don't want to be in a schedule. So yes, you have to have a schedule because if you don't have that, you're going to be like a chicken with no head. It's the real truth. And you like you said, I mean, it's money here, but you need to follow the instructions. Because if it's not, you'll never be successful.
Yeah. And then to kind of touch on that, I mean, I'm kind of guilty that when I'm on vacation, even if it's just like a 2-day trip, I'm still picking up calls. If a lead comes in, I still call it. I would, love to give it to mom, but it comes to me directly. So I just immediately call it. Or if I'm coming home and I'm coming home early, I feel guilty if I'm laying around and cleaning up the house when I should be making phone calls, following up. So I still call.
Yeah.
So it really is tough. But I will say that to give my mom the biggest compliment, even though it's something that I harp on her about, she's a 7 days a week person. She's mentally always told me, and I've spoken about it, if I'm just at home, I'm no good for anybody. I don't want to just sit here and clean. I'd rather be out there and helping people. And I'm like, well, if I can have one day off, I'll be really happy,
Yeah.
Because there is burnouts. There definitely is burnouts, and I always say that if you do, my mom always says, go sit on top of a mountain and think for a little bit and then come back down, So those are things that I kind of always put in my head, hey, come back the next day, go at it and hit it harder.
Yeah. I think this is just off subject, but it just made me think of it when you said that. Like, I think going up on the mountain and thinking, I think today we don't think enough. We don't have quiet sitting with yourself thinking through things. I think, a long time ago, people thought a lot more. That we have so many distractions from TV, phones, anything. And I know for me, I've realized lately that just turning everything off, like I'm guilty of it. I'm always listening to a podcast. I'm going to the grocery store, I'm listening to a podcast. I'm driving in the car, I'm listening to something that's bettering me. I'm always learning. But I don't spend enough time thinking about stuff, my life, who I am, what I'm doing, my business, the meaning of life, like all these other things that are just out there. You don't shut the other stuff off to just sit there and think. And I really think that there's a lot of value in doing that more than we think there is. Is that something that you do at all?
I definitely do a lot of it, actually. I do it by myself, to be honest with you. And I actually, that's a tribute that I got that someone gave to me a long time ago. When I used to work selling suites, our boss used to give us once a week a paper and a pen and a notebook, actually. And he says, I don't care where you guys go. Just go for 1 hour, turn off your phone, and park where you need to park and stare at a tree if you need to stare at a tree. And we had to describe it. And we had to write what our thoughts were at that moment. He's like, if you hated something, you write it. If you like something, you put it. If you have an idea, you put an exclamation mark on it. And sometimes I think about those days and I say thank you to that person. I actually think they sell real estate too now, so it makes it kind of weird. But I stopped doing it. But there's times when I go to the gym, I actually have most of my thoughts in there. Like, even though I want to like be as fast as the person next to me that I'm working out at a CrossFit gym, That's not me. I've always been a slow person
Yeah.
when it comes to those things. So most of the time when I'm thinking of thoughts in my head like, hey, how can I do this? It's like they say it's like your 1 hour to yourself, but those are the times where I'm really like emphasizing my thoughts, my space. Or even when I get home, I go on a treadmill for 45 minutes and I walk and I just start thinking of things. I don't tune on music, don't do
Yeah.
nothing. I just walk. I hate hearing the treadmill go, but it's just something that I start getting ideas.
Yeah.
And then once I do it, I put it on my notes.
Yeah.
So that's
I
one of
just
the
started
things-
doing that because I started realizing like when you're exercising, you're out doing stuff, physical, that's
Mhm.
when your mind's just it's firing at its best. And so you start to have all these ideas and these things that are happening, and I was just letting them go, And so I started putting them on my phone.
It's the only way to hold yourself accountable nowadays. I know that it sounds silly, but I mean, you can have your best friend and just hold each other accountable, and you got to have a really good one because most of them accountability partners, they're tough to come by, and when you find one, it's good. I think that's what makes this work, because we both want the same thing.
Mhm.
There's not. It's more like we might be mad at each other for 1 second or upset at each other, but we want the same thing. So when we accomplish it, we're like, it worked out. That's the next one. And it goes the same way, but it's because we want the same thing. We just have two different ways of doing it. And when it comes together, it's a beautiful masterpiece. I don't know how to explain it, but it just works out.
Yeah.
And I attribute a lot to her because I am not the easiest person to get along with. I'm very dry.
You're lucky she loves you.
Yeah, I'm so lucky.
That's why.
That's literally why. I'm a very dry person. Maybe I just developed that in the corporate mindset, which is, like I said, it's something that I'm working on, and I want my personality to shine because honestly, I'm a really easy, approachable person. I think me and you have interacted a few times. I want to see everybody succeed in this business. There's not one person that I don't want to see succeed. I'm more of like, is that the most you can do?
Hmm.
Because there's always more.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I think that's a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
If you guys are watching at this point, make sure you like and subscribe and follow and do all the good stuff. Esther, thank you so much for doing the keys or the videos and all that stuff, because we lost our assistant today. So she sacrificed and she's over there punching all the keys. So thank you for that.
Yeah, she crushed it.
Yeah. and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much, Esther, and thank you so much
Julian as well.
for this conversation. It was
Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, man. Thanks. It was fun.